You know that feeling when you just breeze right past a 2-hour airport security line? For most of us, it feels like this amazing, lucky consumer perk, right? Like a brief, glorious escape from the shared misery of modern travel bottlenecks. But to truly understand these systems at an expert level, we actually have to reframe that view entirely. These systems aren't just perks. They are highly specialized logistical engines, meticulously engineered to keep massive, heavily congested transit networks from completely grinding to a halt. Today, we're going to act as an analytical engine ourselves. We're going to dive deep into the data to identify the core mechanisms and the exact cause and effect relationships that make these complex tier-based security networks, like US Trusted Traveler programs, function on a global scale. We're going to strip away the surface-level storytelling and focus strictly on the actionable insights and the non-obvious details of how this all works. Here's a quick map of how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll look at the risk stratification mechanism. Then, optimizing domestic air transit, international customs and bundling, terrestrial and maritime choke points, and finally, the 5-year vetting cycle. Let's get right into it. Starting with Section 1, the risk stratification mechanism. Basically, how we trade upfront vetting for pure transit velocity. To really grasp this framework, we have to start with a central analytical question. How exactly do modern security networks optimize flow without sacrificing safety? Think about it. It perfectly highlights the fundamental tension between conducting meticulous, thorough security checks and the absolute logistical necessity of moving millions of people every single day. Just imagine the sheer scale of that bottleneck. If every single one of those millions of travelers was subjected to maximum level screening, the entire global transit grid would instantly collapse. There's just no way around it. The math simply does not support universal friction. So how is this massive logistical headache actually resolved? Well, the solution to that gridlock revolves around a highly specific profile, the pre-approved low-risk traveler. Analytically speaking, this concept is the core engine of the entire system. By having certain individuals willingly undergo extensive upfront vetting, meaning they submit comprehensive background data, deep biographical history, and biometric identifiers way before they even pack a suitcase, the system grants them accelerated transit. And why does this work? Because identifying known low-risk entities is a calculated strategic trade-off. It allows security networks to take their incredibly limited on-the-ground resources and concentrate them entirely on the unknown variables, the travelers who haven't been pre-vetted. It is a brilliant, absolutely vital allocation of systemic resources that literally trades data for velocity. Let's move down a level to Section 2, optimizing domestic air transit. This is really the foundational tier of the whole framework. The most crucial takeaway here is the strict cause and effect relationship between trust and movement. In programs that manage domestic pre-clearance, establishing that trust beforehand systematically removes the physical friction of a standard security check. You get to keep your shoes on, your laptop stays securely inside your bag. But analytically, it's so important to realize that the physical security check isn't actually being skipped, not at all. It was simply relocated chronologically. The risk was neutralized weeks or even months before you ever arrived at that physical choke point. So the system has effectively decoupled the screening process from the physical facility itself. Now, this brings up an implicit assumption that we absolutely need to address. A layperson might look at this frictionless process and assume, hey, less physical checking must mean less security, right? Actually, expert analyses explicitly note that this system is continually upgraded to maintain the highest levels of passenger safety. Taking away physical friction does not equal taking away security. Instead, highly sophisticated algorithms are conducting continuous, silent background checks in the background. If a pre-cleared traveler's risk profile suddenly changes for any reason, maybe a new legal flag pops up or there's a sudden weird shift in their travel patterns, their frictionless status is instantly revoked. It's not a static checkpoint, it's a dynamic, living security net. Moving outward, we hit Section 3, international customs and bundling, and the creation of overlapping spheres of clearance. When we compare the traditional arrival process with the accelerated international clearance model, we uncover a massive structural shift in resource allocation. Think about the standard customs bottleneck. It requires immense manpower. Literally dozens of officers manually analyzing passports and trying to figure out the intentions of unknown travelers landing from abroad, all in real time. It's incredibly heavy on resources. The accelerated model, on the other hand, relies almost entirely on biometric kiosks. A simple facial scan or fingerprint instantly pulls up that highly scrutinized, pre-vetted profile, drastically reducing the strain on the physical facility. Analytically speaking, what we're looking at here is a system successfully trading human manpower for raw biometric computing power. And that brings us to the implicit bundling effect. This is essentially a masterclass in eliminating redundancy. If you analyze the architecture of these programs, acquiring a top-tier international clearance automatically grants you domestic clearance as well. The logic is rock solid. Because the international vetting process is so incredibly rigorous, it mathematically exceeds and therefore logically absorbs the lower domestic requirements. By bundling these clearances together, the system deduplicates its own administrative efforts. It creates this unified, highly efficient traveler profile that functions completely seamlessly across entirely different transit jurisdictions without ever requiring separate, repetitive background checks. Now let's bring it back down to earth for Section 4, terrestrial and maritime choke points and highly tailored geographical solutions. Look, land and sea borders present an entirely different set of transit challenges than an enclosed airport terminal. A border isn't just a simple line drawn on a map. It's a very specific physical geographical puzzle. This comparative matrix contrasts the totally distinct mechanisms engineered to solve those puzzles for the US borders. For a northern border system like Nexus, the primary function is bilateral. It speeds up customs on both sides, and it has to accommodate air, car, or boat travel. That necessitates a highly complex multimodal infrastructure. Conversely, a southern border system like SENTRI is engineered with laser focus on one massive issue: quicker land crossings, specifically for cars, relying almost entirely on the physical infrastructure of dedicated lanes. The physical environment strictly dictates the logistical solution that gets deployed. Up in the north, the system absolutely must establish a trimodal border processing capability to fluidly handle all the interconnected lakes, skies, and roads between two heavily integrated nations. In the south, however, the overwhelming logistical threat isn't diverse transit types. It is sheer vehicular volume. We're talking millions of cars. Therefore, the strategic solution has to be physical isolation. The system filters recognized low-risk commuters into dedicated concrete lanes so they can bypass the immense gridlock of all the unknown traffic. The underlying risk assessment software running both programs is virtually identical, but its physical manifestation is entirely adapted to survive the local geography. And that brings us to our final piece, Section 5. The 5-year vetting cycle and temporal risk assessment. 5. Just that single number. It represents the exact lifespan of a trusted traveler membership across all the evaluated programs before a rigorous renewal is completely required. But analytically, we have to stop and ask, why exactly 5? Well, a 5-year validity window is not just some arbitrary administrative choice somebody made on a whim. It actually represents a highly calculated risk deterioration timeline. Expert consensus in the field dictates that half a decade is the optimal window where a human being's risk profile remains statistically reliable. It is a precise mathematical balancing act. If you require renewals every single year, the entire administrative bureaucracy collapses under its own massive weight. There's just too much paperwork. But if you wait 10 years, the statistical probability of a major life change, a new criminal flag, or an entirely new travel pattern emerging becomes far too high to safely ignore. 5 years is the mathematical sweet spot. It's the perfect equilibrium between minimizing the administrative burden and maximizing predictive security. So to wrap this explainer up, consider this actionable insight. We've seen how these specialized programs trade upfront data for physical velocity, and how they dynamically adapt to both geography and time. But as global transit volumes just continue to explode, how on earth will these logistical engines scale? Are we moving toward a future where biometrics entirely replace the physical border? A world where your face is quite literally your passport, and security gates never even require you to break your stride? The systems we analyze today are definitely not just consumer perks. They are merely the prototypes for tomorrow's ultimate logistical challenges. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the mechanics of transit security.